All right, my friend. This is it. This is big. We're going to go deep into with the right environment, you are a weapon. We're going to look at that from different levels, angles, perspectives. We're going all in here. This is the $12 quadrillion becoming the weapon it is your destiny to be training, workshop, seminar, gift. Let's look at that number, $12 quadrillion. Okay, you know that $1 quadrillion is equal to 1,000 trillion dollars. $1 trillion is 1,000 billion dollars, right? I mean, think about this as most people don't even know how much $1 billion is, right? That's 1,000 million dollars. I wonder how many people even know what $1 million is. That's, of course, $1,000. Hopefully everyone knows what $1,000 is. All of these things I realize are representations of numbers, and yet if you think about it, I mean, what is $1,000 other than a representation of a little more of the infinite and unlimited? This might be abstract, and yet conceptually you can understand that you are an expression of the unlimited. I call that God, the infinite and unlimited. You are an expression of that, and you are meant to be unlimited yourself. You're hearing that message and you're thinking, you know something? He's absolutely right. God is the word that I use also for the infinite and unlimited. There's no, like he said in the first video, which started this seminar, there's no difference between $1 and $1,000 or $1 million or $1 billion or $1 trillion or $1 quadrillion or $12 quadrillion to the infinite and unlimited. Even 25 cents or a dime or a penny just is energy. And so $1 is, or this is a silver ounce, so maybe that's, whatever silver is worth now, $22, $28. I don't remember hearing it recently, but whatever. I mean, it's been high as, $50, I think, or $70 an ounce, or 77, I don't know. I mean, but to the infinite, unlimited, of which you are its expression in the world, you're God's gift to the world, you're God's instrument to bring miracles into the world. So whether you create $1, $1 billion, $1 trillion, $1 quadrillion, or $12 quadrillion, there's no difference. It's just a matter of a little more of the infinite, unlimited. It's energy. So there is no limitation, and I want you to move past all limitations of your thinking, because how could you ever think it's possible to even in any way limit the unlimited? That's like dividing anything by zero. It's incalculable. I mean, to me, my dad was a math professor, and he discovered something he called it carousel numbers, which is a recurring pattern when you take the square of prime numbers, like 17 is a prime number. You can't divide 17 by anything other than 1 and 17. When you take like 17 squared is, whatever, 289 or whatever it is, and 13 is another prime number. And when you graph the square of the prime numbers, that it creates a recurring pattern. He called it a carousel numbers, and my dad identified that. And for me, so he was kind of like a math genius. When like 0 is, anything divided by 0 becomes 0, right? Except you can't, I don't know, anyway. I mean, to me, 0 represents God. The mathematical number 0, it's not really a number, it's just kind of a placeholder, but to me that represents God, because anything times God equals God. That's how I like to think of it metaphorically, as an abstract concept. Anyway, so $1 quadrillion, to put this in perspective, I want you to become unlimited and move past all limiting ideas or thoughts, because how you think, really hear this message, how you think is the limit that you impose on the unlimited. So I want you to think unlimitedly. I want you to become unlimited. So, is $1 million out of reach to you? No. There's nothing out of reach for you, because you are unlimited. You are the expression of God in the physical world. You are. There's nothing you cannot achieve. There is no limit to how much good you can do in the world. There's no limit to how much money, wealth, prosperity, energy you can allow, you can flow, you can receive, you can create, you can own, you can experience, you can achieve. None. 0. So, how does $1 million feel to you? Think about you having a net worth of $1 million. I hope you have that and more already. If you're like many and do not, how does that feel to you? I have $1 million in my bank account. How does that feel to you? That feels pretty good to me. I want to purchase a home, and I looked at this home and I love it, and it feels like home to me, and I can really see myself working in the executive office off my master bedroom on the second floor, overlooking the pool, and it's in one of the most beautiful parts of Sedona. And it has 2 elevators in the home, and it's so beautiful. I just fell in love with it when I toured it, and they reduced the price to $13.5 million. So for me, I see that as my home, and that feels great to me. I feel so good there, and I love it, and I want it, and that feels right to me. So that's the size of my consciousness of wealth right now, and that's not really the size of it. That's just saying that feels right to me to live in that house, for that to be my home. So that's like $13.5 million plus, whatever the property taxes are and the upkeep on that. Let's say $2 million a year. So let's say, let's call it $20 million. I'm holding that in my consciousness of wealth. That feels appropriate to me. And for me to buy a property for that amount, then that shows me that I'm worth $100 million at least to be able to say yes to that as a prudent use of my money. Especially from Warren Buffett, we know the time value of money, and I forgot exactly the details of it, but the principle of it, Warren Buffett made headlines when Bill Clinton spent, I think it was $600 on a haircut. I think it was in Phoenix even. He had, in his airplane, he called, some, I don't know if it was a barber or a hairstylist, whatever, to come to the plane and give him this haircut. And I think they even held up all the other planes, couldn't do anything for the hour he was getting this haircut. And yet, from Warren Buffett, we know that $600 for a haircut is really based on the time value of money. I think it was, this is the part I don't really remember, if it was $3,500 maybe was that the actual value of that haircut or the actual cost of that haircut, because $600 in the bank at 10% a year over the course of, whatever, I don't know if it was 20 years or something, but 22 years maybe was Warren Buffett's calculation that $600 would have become $3,500 based on the compounding effect of money. And so the actual cost of that was $3,500. I mean, it was probably, millions of dollars, I don't know, in real cost by him Bill Clinton holding up the air traffic in a busy, one of the top, 5 or 6 airports in the country for an hour, probably cost, millions of dollars. But anyway, when you spend money, when you invest money, investing is so much different than spending money, and I want you to start thinking and as a millionaire or multimillionaire or billionaire or multi-billionaire, and that's what we're doing in this Operation Greatness chapter meeting. You're expanding your consciousness of wealth so extraordinarily, exponentially, beyond anything you have ever even imagined or dreamed or thought or hoped was even possible, because you are so much wealthier than you previously could even comprehend. You have so much more power than you could have ever recognized or conceived before now. Now you're receiving that. Now you're knowing that. Now you're holding that. Now you're flowing with that currency, which is the flow of life, the flow of God. You receiving God before you can extend God. And, currency is money, is time, is energy, is health, is prosperity, is wealth. You're no longer limiting God from expressing through your life the infinite and unlimited which you are. So, going back to this sense of seeing where your consciousness of wealth is, so how does that feel for you to hold to, $20 million or $100 million is where we were with this example of this home that I want to purchase. How does that feel to you to hold $100 million in your energy field to say, I am worth this much? If you have any hesitation or doubt or limitation of the unlimited, then there is your work. So do your work, wherever that is. Or do you have the consciousness of millionaire? Or I guess we're already at $100 million. So billionaire, do you have that? Can you hold $1 billion in your net worth? Because you know that's how much you are worth. Or $20 billion or $100 billion. So I'm inviting you to test to see where the upper limit of your consciousness of wealth at present is, because that's how much you are limiting God. We're limiting God because now you're unlimited, and you're like, how could you be so arrogant or small or selfish to think it's even possible for you? Like, who are you to limit the unlimited? How could you deny God? What would be ever right or appropriate about that in any way? Pretty obvious, right? How could you even think it was possible for you to limit God? How could you turn your back on God or deny God full expression of the gift of God in the world? It doesn't even compute, right? It's like dividing something by 0. It just doesn't happen. It's not even possible to think about you limiting God, right? So let's go back and look at this in a more tangible way. So we think of, like, Elon Musk is regarded as the richest man in the world today, I think. And I think his wealth is, I don't know what it is now, let's say $250 billion. So we have some kind of a concept of what that means, right? What about beyond that? I mean, I think I've seen headlines suggesting that Elon has aspirations of being the first trillionaire and a $250 billion net worth. If he's like a quarter of the way to $1 trillion net worth. And I think for him, it's like a game. Like he likes spending hours playing video games. So this is like having the high score, I guess, in the video game of the simulation, if he thinks this is a simulation. And so $1 trillion is just a number of representing how much you are open to God working through you, how much you're open to the flow of God, the flow of miracles your life is meant to be. That's a fair assessment, right? How could you limit that either? Because that would be limiting the unlimited, and how is that ever even possible to conceive? Why would anyone ever think about limiting the unlimited? Doesn't make sense, right? So, if we're at $250 billion, moving toward $1 trillion, and yet between you and God being infinite and unlimited, so we're still down at 0, or not even 0.1% of God being infinite and unlimited, even $1 trillion as your net worth is still 0.0000000 with about a million zeros, and then maybe a 1% of the unlimited and infinite. So you see, $1 trillion as your net worth is still nothing to the infinite and unlimited, right? So even you being the first trillionaire is still nothing to God, right? And so, I mean, how much more is your consciousness of wealth expanded just by thinking about this and seeing this? It's still nothing to God for you to give so much value, contribute so much meaning to the world that you have become a trillionaire. That's still nothing to the infinite and unlimited. And the more you are giving, the more you are being of greater service, the more fulfilled you are, the more wealth you receive because of the currency, because of the flow of money, because of you providing value, and that The amount of money you have is a reflection of the amount of value you provided. So the amount of money you have, which you are willing to receive, is a reflection of the contribution you have made, how much you have served humanity. And all of that is appropriate. It is honorable to be of greater service and to receive the rewards of providing that service. Is there any question about that? It's obvious, right? So you're not limiting the amount of money that you receive. That is the direct result of the contribution you have made, because you are worthy of all of that, because you are God's gift to the world, because there's no way that you have ever even imagined or could ever conceive of limiting the unlimited. How could that ever be appropriate? How could you ever even think you could do that? Because that doesn't even make sense. So all of this is in alignment with the person you are here to be in being of greater service to more people, which is your whole function in this world. You're here to contribute as much as you can to as many people as you can, knowing that none of that is limited in any way, because you are God's gift to the world, and being that gift is your purpose. And this is what we're doing together, leading your own Operation Greatness chapter through operationgreatness.com/leader, right? And with your Operation Greatness chapter, you're doing as much as you can to serve everyone in the world. Ultimately, you're here to transform their lives, to get them to lead their own Operation Greatness chapters through your link. And that's how you are serving them most meaningfully, at least right now. And then you're rewarded for that contribution by them while leading their own chapters through you. And this is financial freedom and so much more for you. So let's go back to, we were at like $250 billion and then moving toward $1 trillion, and how that's still nothing to God. And I mean, we all have, so we have an idea, we have the sense of what $250 billion is, or 300 billion, whatever Elon Musk's wealth is said to be now. And moving toward $1 trillion, we can kind of conceive of what that looks like. And I would invite you to feel what that feels like, to have $1 trillion as your net worth, reflecting the contribution of your life, how much value you have provided to others. Feel that I am a trillionaire. I am the first. I am someone who has given so much to others that I have generated $1 trillion as my net worth. That feels really, really good. So feel that, because this is where you are giving your attention, and where you are giving your attention, you are giving your power, and that's how you are creating your life and how we are creating our world. So really feel that. What's that like to have $1 trillion? I can do anything I want. Money is no object. I can go anywhere. I can do anything. I can buy anything. I can be anything. There's no limit to what you can do, right? That's how you're here to live. So live that way. Be that instrument for miracles that you are. As God's gift to the world, you're here to be of greater service to everyone you can lead, inspire, transform, and liberate, doing a little more today in being of greater service. Breathe in that. That feels so good. That feels so right. That feels so spot on, because that's where you now are. Becoming unlimited. you are unlimited, and now you're no longer limiting God. You're no longer standing in your own way or dimming your light. You're shining your light as brightly as the sun. And that feels so right, so appropriate, so joyful, so blissful, because this is who you are. So we also have the sense of what $25 trillion or $30 trillion looks like, because that's a reflection of the negligence, the irresponsibility of the people we had allowed to serve us. I mean, quote unquote. In other words, Congress, the previous administration, we had allowed them, we hired them to act in our best interest, to manage our money, and to execute the values, to implement the things that we valued as America, for example. And what do we value as America? Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. As among these inalienable rights we hold to be self-evident. And what does life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness mean? It means that every one of us have the ability to become as successful, happy, joyful, on purpose, wealthy, successful as we so desire. And Congress, these 535 men and women, we hire to execute or implement the values that we hold to be self-evident. Well, if they're not honoring our values, if they're not honoring the responsibility they have to us, well, then we elect people who will serve us. And if they're $30 trillion over the amount of money we have given them to manage, well, that's not acceptable. So this is part of our work, is to, make sure that they are accountable to us and not the special interest groups, not big pharma, not the big banking cartels, not the food industry, which is really the disease industry. All of this stuff, we have to do this work to get our country back in alignment with these values we hold to be self-evident. We have our work to do, and we're doing that together with each of us leading our Operation Greatness chapters through operationgreatness.com/leader. This is the work we are all required to do, and we're doing this together as the Operation Greatness leadership through our Private Wealth Alliance, and also through Elevating Humanity. Where is this inspiring you to give your attention and your power and to create your life? So you have that sense of what $30 trillion is, and yet that's still nothing to God, to the infinite and unlimited. So you have a sense of $30 trillion. If you add another zero to that, that's $300 trillion. And if you multiply that by, what would that be? 33 1/3. That's $1 quadrillion. And if you multiply that by 12, then that's $12 quadrillion. And that's what we are creating together as the challenge, the vision of how much more is possible for you and for every one of us through you, by you leading all of your online friends to join your chapter and to lead their own Operation Greatness chapters. How many people are you leading, inspiring, transforming, and liberating? Personally. Like, how many online friends do you have total? Get that total number and multiply that by how much money you would be making by leading all of them into your chapter. For example, on Twitter, I have like 182,200 and some people following me. So whatever let's just say 180,000 people times $98.50 per person per month by joining your chapter. I mean, you take your number and multiply that by $98.50 per person per month, which is what you can be making through your chapter link when they are leading their own chapters through you. So like for our example here, that would be, 180,000 times $100 to round it up just to make the math a little easier. That would be 180. So that would be 1.8 million, $180 million. Is that right? No, $18 million. So that would be like $18 million per month by me getting my 182,000 people on Twitter leading their own chapters. So, plus I guess I forgot about my 5,000 some people on Facebook and whatever the other ones are. Let's say $18 million a month, because that's, so anyway, get that number for yourself. And then that's from your online friends. And yet, what about your local area? And of course, this is no guarantee. I'm just showing you what's possible, and I'm challenging you to create what's possible. When you have the ability to do something, included within that is the responsibility to do that. So think about your local area too. Like, what is Sedona has, I don't know the numbers, but let's say like 15,000 people in Sedona, maybe 15,000 in the village of Oak Creek also, so that's like 30,000 people more. And then like Camp Verde, Cottonwood, Flagstaff, Prescott, our other communities in northern Arizona. And like, I don't know, let's say Cottonwood is maybe 30,000 or 40 or 50, and Flagstaff might be 100,000, and might be another 30,000 in the college. And, let's just say there's another 200,000 or something in my area, unless we go to Phoenix, and that's like, 4.5 million or something in the area. So, whatever. So what is that number for you by leading your chapter in your community as well? So let's say let's say you can get another 1 million people, and what would that be? $98 million a month. But then, so the amount of money you're creating, you're allowing, you're flowing, you're receiving, you're extending, and then all of them doing that as well. And you can see this is the challenge for humanity, that we are opening to God, the infinite, unlimited, and creating together $12 quadrillion, where $1 quadrillion is equal to 1,000 trillion dollars. You see how much more you're expanding your belief in what's possible? And now you recognize there is no limit to the good you can do in the world, and that is the reflection of the value of your life. That is how much you matter, because you are becoming more unlimited. You've always been unlimited, but now you are recognizing you are unlimited, and that's so much more real for you now. And still, we've seen how like $250 billion is still nothing to the infinite and unlimited, and how even $1 trillion is still nothing to the infinite and unlimited, of which you are its physical expression in the world. And from there, how $30 trillion is still nothing to the infinite and unlimited, and how even though $30 trillion is like almost unfathomable, to imagine the negligence and gross irresponsibility of the people we hired to serve us, Congress, in being that disrespectful of my money, of your money, of our children's money, in being that egregiously negligent and incompetent. Well, no, I think their purpose wasn't competence, it was maybe malevolence. But we have to get our house in order, and yet we see that we can grow so much that $30 trillion of irresponsible spending on the part of the people we hired to manage our money is almost nothing compared to the good we are creating by being of service, by coming from love, by working with God or flowing with God or allowing God to move through us, to move mountains and transform the world. I mean, $100 trillion, you have the power to create that yourself. And $1 quadrillion, 10 times $100 trillion, you have the power to create that yourself. And $12 quadrillion, you have the power to create that yourself as well. That's still zero compared to the infinite and unlimited, of which you are its expression in the world. How much greater is your consciousness of wealth now? Are you now holding $1 quadrillion or $12 quadrillion in your consciousness of wealth? Because that's certainly possible, because you are unlimited. How much more are you creating exuberantly, passionately, purposefully, mindfully, excitedly, allowing yourself to receive as the fair reward for all the good you are doing? For example, by you leading all of your online friends through this Operation Greatness Chapter meeting, by them joining your Operation Greatness Chapter. How much more do you believe in yourself? How much more do you realize you truly matter? I mean, by you leading all your online friends, how many people is that again? Through joining your Operation Greatness Chapter and leading all of their friends in joining their Operation Greatness Chapters, you've transformed the lives of all of their friends as well as all the lives of their friends. I mean, this is that 1,200 becoming 1,440,000 people, becoming 1.72 billion people as part of the gift of you and your contribution to the world. You're holding that in your consciousness of wealth because you have that power, you have that ability. When you have the ability to do something, included within that is the responsibility to do that which you are able to do. So do that now. Leading, inspiring, transforming, and liberating every last one of your online friends. No one left behind. Leading them into your chapter and their online friends, every one of theirs, no one left behind there either, joining their Operation Greatness chapters, and you have transformed all of them as well, and then all of their online friends too. See this as real, as the result you created. How awesome does this feel? Wow, I transformed the lives of all of my online friends, and I oversaw them transforming the lives of all of their online friends. I liberated all of their online friends too. That's the power that I had, and I'm so grateful I stopped limiting God, because look at all the good that happened as a result of me opening to this myself and actually transforming the lives of everyone connected with me, and empowered them to transform the lives of everyone connected with them, and everyone connected with them also. Almost no one ever alive as a human being has had anywhere near this level of impact that I had. That's how much I matter. I'm so grateful that I heard this message and trusted and knew I had to do this. I had to go all out, or go all in, and allow God to work through me in leading, inspiring, transforming, and liberating all of my online friends, and showing them how they are in turn leading, inspiring, transforming, and liberating all of their online friends. And the whole world is so much more abundant, so much more loving, so much more at peace, so much more connected, and connected with God, and becoming unlimited in the amount of good every one of us is able to do in the world, for God, for humanity, for the earth. I never imagined I mattered this much. This is how much you truly matter. Do this now. Lead, inspire, transform, and liberate every one of your online friends, and you can do everyone in your local area as well. You can transform their lives the same way. All through your Operation Greatness chapter through operationgreatness.com/leader. Breathe in all of this. Really see this, really make this real, because it's in your mind first. You're seeing it there, and then it becomes in your life as a result, because you, my friend, are prime cause. And this vision that you are seeing very clearly, it's so real to you. You can taste it. You can feel it. You're owning it. This is what you are creating in the world, and that vision fulfilled is the effect of you empowering this and creating this. You are prime cause, and you are the cause of all of this happening in the world by you no longer limiting the unlimited, because you are God's gift to the world. This is how valuable this gift you are truly is. You're seeing this fully, you're hearing this, and you're living this. Is there any question about any of this? If there is, let's talk about that in our Private Wealth Alliance for Operation Greatness chapter leaders, all through operationgreatness.com/leader. We still didn't even talk about you as the weapon you are in the right environment. This is an extension of the right environment, and you've cultivated that in your mind, which is where all of this is created. So thank you for playing full out here and creating that result, allowing that result, attracting that result, manifesting it, and of course what? Receiving that. Everything that is your just reward, just desserts for all the good you are contributing. Thank you for being such a loving, inspired, visionary leader. It has always been your purpose to be, and now you are living that. I'm so proud of you. I'm so inspired by the example you are, how much of a inspired visionary leader you are now. You have become that which you were destined to be. I'm just so humbled and so honored and so proud of you and by your presence. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Do share all the posts from this conversation that you're sharing in the world, leading everyone you can to being that inspired visionary themselves among all of their online friends. Do share all of that in the essay that you're sending me, and of course in our Private Wealth Alliance. Send that to me personally, though, at dan@danclatt.com. Thank you. Thank you very much.